Hi guys. Today being August 1st, I thought would be the perfect day to show you guys this recipe since today is a baking day for me anyway. I decided today to do zucchini bread, or some more zucchini bread, but I thought I'd show you guys the recipe that I use, and I like it a lot. I think it's really good, and I hope my new setup here works because, yeah, it's kind of hanging on. I'm like expecting this to fall any minute now, but I hope not. So, all right. So here's what we got. The first thing that we're going to need, and I will put the recipe down below in the down bar, but the first thing we're going to need is all-purpose flour, and I've got that here. And this is a half of a cup scoop. Now, I'm not any great chef. My granny, my mama, she would die if she saw me do this because she always sifted everything. But, you know, it's for my family. It's not like it's for anybody that's too terribly picky. So, 3 cups of flour. So there's going to be 6 of these. Oops, sorry, y'all. Metal and glass doesn't sound good. Okay, one more. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. So 3 cups of flour. And while I'm getting all of this together, my stove is preheating at 325, and I have greased two of my little cake or bread pans. So I've got my flour. Now I need a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of baking soda. And I don't have all this stuff pre-measured this time like I usually do, so y'all bear with me, sorry. And I need a teaspoon of baking powder. Oh, where's my lid? There it is. Okay. I'm also going to need some sugar. Now, generally when baking, you put all your wet ingredients together, and I know sugar doesn't sound like a wet ingredient, but if you were heating it up on the stove, it like melts down to a liquid. So usually your sugar would go in with your eggs and your milk, or you know, your liquid ingredients. I'm putting my sugar in here. You know, I mean, it works for me. If you were wanting to make some nice, big, fluffy, great bread for some kind of food critic, don't follow my recipe, and don't do what I do. Because my bread is a heavy, moist, put meat on your ribs bread. This is my zucchini bread, but it's really zucchini cake, y'all. I mean, seriously. But anyway, so getting back to it. Let's get our sugar here. Where's my sugar on here? That's 2. Where's my scale? 2 cups of white sugar. Or you could do, it's a little over 2 cups, but I'm just going to use 2 cups. And I'll show you why here in just a second. If you're following this recipe, you'll just need 2 cups. If you're not going to put pineapples in, I would go ahead and do the 2.5, or you could do 1 of white sugar and 1 of, I'm going to put just a little bit more sugar in here, y'all, because that one wasn't full. 1 of brown, which tastes really good. Okay, sugar. Then I need a tablespoon of cinnamon. So this is a teaspoon. So, and I know those are kind of heaping, but I like cinnamon, y'all. Pepper, salt, cinnamon. Okay. Now, I've got my eggs over here in an old Dixie cup, or Solo cup, or Walmart brand generic cup, whatever you want to call it. I've already beat them up just so y'all didn't have to listen to all of that. So 3 eggs. Then I'm going to need a cup of vegetable oil. Some people do like a 1/2 cup of oil and then they do applesauce. I don't do all that. If I wanted healthy, I wouldn't be eating this. That's just kind of the way I see it, I guess. Okay, so a cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to put this in with my eggs. That way, the majority of my liquid ingredients is all together. Anyway, all right. Okay, now I'm going to put in my cup here. Y'all probably can't even see that, but I'm going to put in my cup vanilla extract. And I need a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm probably going to have to get my other bottle. I used to make my own vanilla extract, which is really easy to do. And it's really tasty if you can get your hands on some good vanilla beans. I've done it before, but I don't have any right now. So I'm using the store-bought brand. Okay. And like I said, ideally you'd put your sugar, you'd mix your sugar up with this. But, you know, this is cooking my way. Okay. Make sure I've got everything here, y'all. Okay. Now, I'm going to mix this up first. Let me see. Mix all these dry ingredients together. And then I'm going to add in, my egg mixture. And then we're going to put in the zucchini and the other stuff. But I'll show you guys that in a minute. And I might have gotten too small of a bowl because this is not the bowl I usually use, but it kind of fit the screen better, so yeah. We're going to try it anyway, y'all. Live and learn, right? Alright, so I've got that mixed up. I'm going to add in this egg mixture. And usually you add your dry to your wet, but you know, I'm doing it half, you know what, backwards, y'all, so it's alright. It'll be okay. This is for me and my boo, and my neighbor, and there ain't none of us picky. I guess Boo's the most picky of us all, but he's too. They just are. Now my zucchini is from my garden, and one of my great big zucchini was enough for 3 cups, which is what I'm going to put in here. It's 3 cups of shredded zucchini. Mine were so big I had to take the seeds out of the inside of it. And to y'all, ordinarily I would use my mixer for this just to save my hand, cause years of working on a computer and I got a bit of carpal tunnel. So but on days like today, you know, sometimes you put it's like I say about a lot of things, like artwork and things. I like the original. There's nothing wrong with like a copy of the original, but the original has the blood, sweat, and tears. So put a little elbow grease in there, put that energy into it, right? Okay. So I got that mixed together. So now, what I'm going to add is, a lot of recipes that you find will do 2 cups of shredded zucchini. I like 3. Like I said, my bread is a heavy bread. So I'm going to put 3 cups in here. And then we'll get to the optional ingredients. I don't know if it's going to fit. Alright guys, sorry about that. I did have to go ahead and break out the big guy. So here it is. I went ahead and dumped it over there and put the mixture in there and stirred it up. Also, something I'm going to add to this. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't add it. But, I don't know. I got that feeling that I might want some, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. And what it is a little nutmeg. So I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg in here. I know it's kind of late in the game to be adding dry ingredients, but that's okay. Hopefully it'll get mixed in good, right? Okay. Now, that is your basic recipe. That is my basic recipe for zucchini bread right there. This is the one that I always use, and it always turns out great. I've never had a problem with this recipe. Now, something that I'm going to do today, because I've already had basic zucchini bread, and I like my I like these other ingredients in it too, so I'm going to do it today so you guys can see, and maybe you try it, maybe you'll like it if you like these ingredients. So to this, I'm going to add a cup of drained and crushed pineapple. I do drain the pineapple now. The zucchini, if there's any juice from the shredded zucchini, I don't drain it because you need that moisture in there. Y'all saw how thick it was before I put the zucchini in, but it thinned out quite a bit once you get your zucchini in it. So then I'm going to put in a cup of crushed pineapple. All right. And this is out of a 10-ounce jar or a 10-ounce can, the pineapple is. So I'd say that was about half of the can. So probably an 8-ounce jar of pineapple is what you'd need. Mix that in. And this is just an optional ingredient, like I said. I like to put crushed pineapple in my banana bread even, which is something I had thought about making today. Okay, then, and I didn't get these crushed. I bought these whole, but you save yourself a lot of trouble if you got them crushed up or chopped up already. And what that is walnuts. And my hands are clean, y'all. That's something I believe in. Get your hands in your cooking. Wash your hands, wash your jewelry, clean under them nails, and get your hands in there. That's why your mamas and your grannies cooking was so good, especially your grannies. That's why your grandma's cooking so good. It's because she wasn't afraid to get her hands in there. That's where that love comes from, y'all. So, a cup of walnuts. Sorry, guys. I kind of beat the bag up a little bit a while ago, but obviously I did not do a good job. All right. I guess I could have just dumped those over in a little Ziploc bag what I wanted and crushed them up, but we're too far in the game to switch it up now. Okay. Sorry for all the noise, y'all. Okay, let's have a look and see. Because that's what I go by is look. See if I got enough nuts in there if I want to add some more. I think almonds is good in here too. But walnuts is my favorite, especially black walnuts in the fall when they come in. You get them and husk them and dry them out. Delicious. Yeah, I think that's enough. Now, I'm also going to add, and I don't always do that, but I wanted it in this one. Yep, I'm going to do it, y'all. It's because it's delicious. But I'm only going to put about a half of a cup of these in there, because that's all you really need of these. I just want a little bit of that toffee flavor. Chocolate chips is good in here if you like chocolate chips. And this bread or cake or whatever you want to call it freezes extremely well. So if you wanted to make a bunch of these in those little small tins, it freezes awesomely. Bring it out and just warm it in the oven. It's good. Alright guys, that's it. So I'm going to pour this over into my pans. I'm going to pour my pans just a little over half full. I'll see how much mixture I've got in here. I'm probably going to have enough for another batch. And I'll get back once I pull them out of the oven. You're going to put them in the oven and bake them for about close to an hour. Keep an eye on them though, because you don't want them to bake too long, or they're going to dry out on you. Probably just under an hour, not quite an hour, I would say, until your toothpick comes out kind of clean, you know. Just kind of watch them and check them and let it go for at least 40 minutes and then kind of start keeping an eye on them and checking them. But all right guys, I'll bring you back when they come out.